Hello, great people. Welcome back to Global Happenings. Today, the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, has been silenced over activities in River State for a while, and most Nigerians believe that he is overly busy in Abuja, and they are not far from the truth. Don't forget that some few weeks ago, precisely on the 14th day of November 2024, Wike had suspended the Federal Capital Development Authority Executive Secretary, Engineer Shehu Hadi. And when the suspension was issued by his special assistant, there was no reason behind the suspension. And the suspension was meant to be indefinite. And being indefinite up till today, Wike has not spoken up about it. But then I'm going to share with you what some, infos that came out about his suspension. But however, right now, the MORIC has sent a very strong message across to Wike and making some very strong demand on the need for the executive secretary to be reinstated, and has given some conditions that Nyesom Wike needs to meet. Now, this man, talking about the executive secretary, has a very great pedigree. We're going to be talking about all of that in a jiffy. But first of all, let's look at full details of what MORIC had to tell Nyesom Wike, the Minister of Abuja FCT. And according to the news, the Minister of Abuja FCT, Nyesom Wike, has been told to reinstate the suspended Executive Secretary of the Federal Capital Development Authority, FCDA, Engineer Shehu Hadi, or give the reason behind his suspension. The advice came from an Islamic human rights organization, the Muslim Right Concern MORIC, in a statement issued on Friday, December 20, 2024, that's today, by the group's executive director, Professor Akintola. MORIC said that the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Abuja, Nyesom Wike, announced the immediate suspension of Engineer Shehu Hadi as the Executive Secretary of the Federal Capital Development Authority, FCDA, on November 14, 2024. Wike has kept sealed lips 5 weeks down the line, and tongues are wagging. The minister has appointed FCDA's Director of Engineering Services, Richard Yunana, as acting Executive Secretary. We stand to be corrected, but the suspended Executive Secretary has a credible pedigree. He was a former commissioner to works in Gombe State, and he has an unblemished civil service record. Nigerians are already wondering about the reason behind his suspension. There is every reason to believe that due process may not have been followed, particularly because the reason for the suspension has not been given till date. The practice in public service is that no suspension is decided upon without an investigation going on pari passu. Besides, the principle of fair hearing demands that the former executive secretary knows why he was suspended and is given the chance to defend himself. As taxpayers, Nigerians also have the right to know. Dead silence after such suspension suggests threat of impunity. On 13 April 1655, Louis XV, King of France and Navarre, told the French Parliament that the state is mine, thereby arrogating to himself all powers in France. He was a sacred cow. It is our hope that another Louis XV is not being mentioned in Abuja FCT. Wike appears to have become too powerful, while some of his actions seem to have been arbitrary. While we appreciate his support for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we have second thoughts about some of the decisions which seems to have been reckless and anti-people. For instance, the demolition of houses at short notice and sacking officials of the FCT only to replace them with people of his own ethnic background do not give a picture of probity, transparency, and objectivity. In particular, apart from being a seasoned technocrat, someone like Engineer Shehu Hadi, who also worked for the emergence of President Tinubu as Nigeria's numero citizens deserve better treatment. We therefore urge FCT Minister to reinstate the suspended Executive Secretary of the FCDA, Engineer Shehu Ahmed Hadi, or give the reason behind his suspension. We are in a democracy and we must toe the path of global best practice if we want to be taken serious in the community of civilized nation. That was the position of MORIC, and they copied Abuja FCT Minister, hashtag Abuja FCDA Executive Secretary, reinstate Ahmed Hadi. That was their position. But interestingly, a very renowned newspaper had talked about why he was suspended. And we do not really know how true it is. But then I'm going to share exactly the position that they gave, about the suspension of this young man. Because number one, based on his track record, he's a technocrat and a man who, respects due process. And it seems as though some things have been going on, and for some reasons best known to the FCT minister, had to suspend him. But just like MORIC has said, it's actually out of place for such to happen. But let me just give you a brief about some of the hearsays which was recorded or taken into consideration by some renowned media house. Now it will interest you to know that the man who had been suspended, Shehu Hadi, has been quiet. He has not said anything. But then some persons, sources within the CDA, said he was suspended for basically paying too much attention to details. That Hadi, being a technocrat, was said to be paying too much attention to how things ought to be done. A senior official with the Federal Capital Territory Administration, who crave anonymity, disclosed to Abuja Metro that Hadi's thought on the modalities to be followed regarding project award and execution did not go well with many of those in charge. The man is a technocrat. He will always give his views on issues, but that seemed not to go down well with the minister, and it cost him his job. Now, another staff also of FCDA said many times that the suspended executive secretary usually advised the minister on how some things should be done regarding project award and execution, even when they were contrary to those of the minister, adding that actually cost him his job. This is really, really serious, I must say. And the position that we are seeing now, that someone is suspended and reasons cannot be disclosed, is quite troubling. And according to the minister's aide, he said that the reasons can be disclosed. And the big question is, how special are those reasons? But MORIC is saying the man should be reinstated, or you let go through the due process for someone of his caliber to be kicked out, and which is set up an investigative. If there's anything that you have heard that he had done which is out of place, set up an investigative team and let him be given an opportunity to defend himself. Do your investigation, give him an opportunity to talk, and then you can take your position. But arbitrarily kicking people out of their position is absolutely wrong. Now, you heard what MORIC said. They had to align the Wike to, a certain Louis 15, that he was like that he declared that the state is his own, and which gave him that arbitrary power to do things the way he wants to do. And MORIC is saying it's wrong. And guess what? I think I stand with MORIC on this. It's important for us to understand that some position will not be there forever. And there are certain things that we do that we will be forced one day to give account of it. Because you're dealing with people, and this is democracy. This is not autocracy. This is not some kind of a setup where you do things based on your emotions. You must follow due process. They lay down procedures. You must follow it. I mean, nobody is against you suspending him, but talk to the people. Let Nigerians know this is the reason I'm suspending him. And when you do that, it will help to cure all this unnecessary bwahaha. I mean, it had happened in Rivers State. It's happening again in Abuja. All of that, if you have political ambition to protect, all of that must be taken into consideration. However, that's where we like to leave it. What's your position in respect to this strong demand by MORIC demanding the restoration, or let me say the reinstatement of the former executive secretary of FCDA, Shehu Ahmed Hadi? Let's interact in our conversation. Thank you very much and stay tuned.